All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er recap as we recap their Week 5 26-23 win in overtime over the Rams at SoFi in front of a packed house of Niner fans. The Niners went to L.A. and they upset the Rams, and the Niners 4-1 after 5 games. What a win. What a win. It was a terrific team win, top to bottom. But, man, how you got to shout out Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones was spectacular, came out on fire, 5 for 5 on the first drive, 33 of 49 on the day for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, only sacked once, though he was hit 10 times, and he looked like it at the end of the game. Mac Jones threw dimes. He played on time. He took care of the football. He played with poise. He played with courage. He stood in and took hits. He was spectacular. And he had to have some help. And Kendrick Bourne, his former receiver in New England, man, they're showing that these guys have a great rapport. 11 targets for Bourne. He caught 10 balls for 142 yards. This is 1 week after he had 3 drops out of 4 passes thrown to him. He rebounded huge. Niners still struggled like crazy to run the ball, but they stayed with it. 33 runs, 2.2 yards a carry. I mean, that's just really, you got closer to offensive balance, right? Niners had 49 pass attempts, 33 runs. The Rams had 47 pass attempts, only 16 runs. So Bourne was huge. McCaffrey was great. Tongas was great. 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for Tongas. Travis Gibson had a fumble recovery. Alfred Collins had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. I mean, just an amazing play on Kyron Williams on the 1-yard line. Marquise Siegel had 13 tackles, 7 solo. Fred Warner had 12 tackles, 7 solo. It was a great game. Great game. Eddie Pinheiro, 4 for 4 on field goals, including a 59-yarder. I mean, Eddie Pinheiro counted for 14 points in this game. Just an awesome performance, top to bottom. Really, really good performance. The offensive line, showed dominance at times, and they really, did a nice job in pass protection at times in this game against a Ram front that's really, really good. And the Rams only got 1 sack all day. So, I mean, that was huge. 49ers held the ball for 40 minutes. It was the kind of game that you needed to play complimentary football, and the Niners did. Now, the Niners did have too many penalties. There was 8 penalties for the 49ers for 44 yards, but they were +2 in turnovers. They held the ball for over 40 minutes, and they found a way to win. What a team win. What a gut check win. 49ers 4-1. Now 3-0 in the division and 3-0 on the road. What a win for the Niners. It was absolutely outstanding. All right, let's hear from Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan weighed in after this game, and here's what Shanahan had to say.
I can't say enough about the guys. They were unbelievable. We talked how long this game was going to be, how focused we had to be, how competitive we had to be for the entire time, and started out great. But, it was a good team. They tightened it up, got real tight at the end, lost a number of dudes who we had to overcome, losing 2 D linemen in that game, and the D line still stepping it up big. Alfred getting that strip at the end. It was a huge character win. We've been in tight ones how many have we had? All 5 of them. Had a chance to pull out last week. We didn't, but pulled this one out and can't be more proud of the guys.
Yeah, huge character win. Just a great win. And, Shanahan is a really good coach. I mean, he knew he had to play, complimentary football. They had long, extended drives in the first half. Why? What was the number one reason the Niners won? They played keep away in the first half from Stafford in this explosive offense. They protected their young defense that now doesn't have Nick Bosa. And they did it by playing ball control. 17-play drive, 12-play drive. When you can play keep away from Stafford, that's the best way what's the best way to stop Stafford? Keep your offense on the field, keep his offense on the sideline, keep him off the field. He's a great player. He's played a long time, almost 2 decades in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl. He's got a great release. He's hard to rush. You can't blitz them. He's seen all the coverages. And, so it's a team effort. It takes a total team effort. And what it really takes is it takes complementary football. And Kyle Shanahan called a great game and kept the Niners offense on the field. And Rams had just a couple possessions in the first half. And I thought that was the number one reason the 49ers won the game. So Shanahan right there on the win. Now let's hear Shanahan talk as well about his starting quarterback, who's now his backup quarterback, who's now his starting quarterback. Kyle Shanahan talking a little bit today about Mac Jones.
I was real impressed. He played his ass off, man. Was unbelievable in the first half. Got banged up a little bit there in the second half and battled through it and protected the ball, going against that defense and throwing the ball that many times and not having a turnover and protecting like he did. I can't say enough good things about Mac.
There you go. And I think that's from Coach Yak's Twitter, but thanks to Coach Yak and thanks to the 49ers for sharing some audio there. But, I mean, Jones played great. He played great. I mean, he took a beating at times. He showed tons of resiliency, took care of the football, just made play after play after play after play. Some of those were lasers. Just a tremendous all-around performance by Mac Jones. Let's hear Shanahan talk a little bit about Eddie Dinero Pinheiro. 4 field goals for Eddie, including a 59-yarder, including another kick that grazed the sidebar. Oh, everybody loves Eddie.
59-yard field goal. Was there a decision to maybe punt it there?
Oh, yeah, it was close. We were pretty close on that line. Debated it for a little bit, but we said, screw it. Let's see what he's got. And he just showed us that we could have done it probably from the 45. It was a hell of a kick.
The former Bear, the former Panther from 59, San Francisco up by 3.
Yeah, great one there. I think maybe KMBR sharing that one with us. But thanks for that one. And Pinheiro, wow, what can you say? The 49ers had a kicker they didn't trust, didn't believe in, that made everybody nervous, from the fans to the media to the other players on the team. So I'm sure Kyle and John and the entire organization, they found a way to get Eddie Pinheiro the 3rd most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. How lucky was that? And they don't win this game without Eddie Pinheiro today. I mean, it's funny. You just got to make your kicks. You want to be a good kicker in the league? Yeah, just make your kicks. That's all Eddie's done. He missed his first PAT with the Niners. He's made all the kicks since. So Eddie's doing his thing, and Shanahan's fired up. Let's hear from Alfred Collins. He talked a little bit about, I love talking to AC. He's a great young guy, former Texas Longhorn, great attitude. Punched that ball out at the end. I was so happy for him. He's a terrific young man. Here he is at the podium.
Walk us through what you saw, how the play developed in forcing the
So they, a couple seasons before, they were doing a draw play. So I run upfield and they run right there. So I was like, felt them doing that, try to fight back. It's a must-have play. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't do that, then, it would have been different. Maybe we would have scored, and, I saw the ball, cocked it back and hit it.
When he started the carry, he had 2 hands around it. Did you see him kind of take one off as he was
going
going through?
I didn't care. I saw the ball. I was just going to get it. So.
Love that. You love Alfred Collins, man. Young guy, but he wants to be good. You talk to him, he admires Nick Bosa and his diet and, his technique, and he's looks up to Chris Kasarik, and he's, loves the room that he's in. And it's just, there's a lot of good things about Alfred Collins. He wants to be good. He's gotten so much better in such a short amount of time. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, he's going to be a force. When you put somebody who has that kind of talent at a position where you have a terrific coach and then you have a great culture in that room, it's just a matter of time. And Alfred Collins is going to be a good one. Really happy that he made that play, though, because, you're inside and, it's a thankless job and it's a battle. And sometimes you just got to recognize the patterns. What do you do as a defensive lineman? Well, you just kind of fight the guy across from you. If he's pushing you to the left, then you work against it. If he's pushing you to the right, you work against it. They're trying to kind of move you around a little bit and get you out of the way. And your job is to kind of push back against that. So you got to recognize patterns. You got to see what they're doing to you. It's a thinking man's position. It's also a technique rich position. That's why older players usually play better than younger players at defensive end and defensive tackle, because it's so much about your hand placement, so much about your technique, so much about, do you play with a bended knee? Do you play with leverage? Do you play the game on your feet? Are you losing sight of the football? Do you know, are you cognizant on every play of down and distance? Are you cognizant of every play of what the offensive line is trying to do to you, how they're trying to set you up? And he's starting to recognize the patterns. And that's the beginning to getting good. You should start to recognize what they're trying to do to you. And that's what he kind of verbalized right there. He's like, hey, they've been running this draw and they've been kind of getting me out of there and moving off my side. And then I just worked back against it and felt it, recognized it, and punched that thing out, and then popped out on the ground and I jumped on it. So way to go, AC, man. Way to go, Alfred Collins. All right, let's hear from Kendrick Bourne. He talked about last week and this week. Last week was a nightmare. And I'll say this about Kendrick Bourne, he owned it. He's like, man, I got to catch the ball. In the post game last week, they're like, hey, Kendrick, what happened? And the media, they're not asking him super tough questions. Yeah, you blew it or something like that. They're just asking him about the game. And Kendrick's like, hey, man, I just got to catch the ball. I got to catch the ball. I wasn't in the right place this week. I wasn't on time. Everything was a little bit off. I just got to catch the ball. They threw me 4 balls. I dropped 3 of them. I can't do that. I got to catch the ball. And, man, he came out serious as a heart attack in this one, and he had himself a performance. And he hit the podium afterwards. Here's what he had to say.
Talk about being hard on yourself at the Jacksonville game. It was a critical job there, 3rd down. You guys up 14-0. What did you tell yourself? Because after that, you was a man on fire and bounced back.
Yeah, those type of plays, I look at it as it falls on me. 3rd and 5, I'm wide open to catch a 5-yard route. Mac, trusting me, goes right through my hands. I'm like, man, so it's just adversity. I think it's a game within a game. It's a mental game on the sideline that every individual player is having. Whether it's good, bad, it's a mental thing. So how do I work within that while I'm playing? And I think that's what I learned from last week is how to flush the good, flush the bad. I know how to do it, but week to week is different, and every situation is different. So learning from that situation last week, learning from that play specifically, I hold myself to the higher standard, and I hate it. But having good teammates, just telling me move on, and the next one's going to come. It's important to have guys like that, and you can feel it.
Talk about being hard.
Yeah, I mean, he bounced back huge, absolutely huge. So way to go, Kendrick Bourne. And, I was one of the people last week going, he doesn't belong in the NFL. And he shut me up this week, man. He played great. So way to go, Kendrick Bourne. Let's hear from Trent Williams. Trent Williams, in a lot of ways, is the emotional leader in the room. He's the guy you want to go to. He's the guy with all the wisdom. He's the guy. It's like, okay, Trent, this has happened. That's happened. All right, now give us your ultimate perspective on it. And he's genius at that perspective. And here's a little bit of Trent Williams talking about Mac Jones and the job that he did today.
What do you say about Mac?
Man, tough as nails. Just just an apex competitor, man. He just, he's one of those guys where, it's not a surprise why people drafted him where they drafted him, why everybody's so high on him. Yes, such a high ceiling. Just a really, really cool guy to be around as well. I've watched Mac over the years, just kind of as a spectator. So I seen the swag he possessed. I seen the way he, talks, the way he answers the interviews. He's very lighthearted guy. He keeps the mood light, but he's a fierce competitor.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's thrilled with Mac Jones right now, right? The players, the coaches, the fans, the media, everybody loves Mac Jones. I mean, what's not to love? But when you hear it from Trent, you can take it to the bank. And when Trent says it, it's like, hey, man, you've really done something. I wasn't sure how Mac Jones was going to fit in because I wasn't sure how his personality was going to blend. But you know what? I mean, they love his sense of humor. They love his confidence. They love his swagger. And then he's a really cerebral quarterback who can process what he sees. And I think, if you can process well, that means you're going to probably make good decisions. And if you're a guy who can process and make good decisions, Shanahan's going to love you. because that's a big part about playing quarterback in his offense. You got to process what you see at the line of scrimmage. You got to make really quick decisions. You got to play on time. You got to be accurate. And this guy really fits all those descriptions. I mean, he's all of those things. So great get. I talked about it all off season. We had these discussions, videos about what was the best move. A lot of people said, "Oh, Robert Saleh." And I said, Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is probably the best move of the offseason because I really believe that Kyle would be able to turn him around in this system. And sure enough, this is what we're seeing. He looks phenomenal in this 49ers system. Let's hear from Kendrick Bourne. And he talks about Mac Jones and why Mac Jones is such a good fit for Kyle's system.
It's a first round pick. Everything falls on him. He's young. He has to figure it out, and that's tough for anybody. So, I mean, I don't know what that feels like. I undrafted guy, but you just see it being a fan of the game. It's tough, and so that stuff is just different. Every situation is different. Coaching is different, and I think now he fits the system. The system is important for a lot of players, and it shows in his game. So, shout out to Kyle, man, John, and them. They doing a good job of getting people prepared. Even for myself, I had the opportunity because Ricky's down and Jawan's down, and they got me prepared, and the same thing with Mac.
Yeah, great. I mean, you think about the 49ers in that last drive in regulation, before when they kicked the Eddie Pinheiro 59-yard field goal, they get the ball on their own 2-yard line. There's 8 minutes left. They're on their own 2. It's tied up, but the Rams have the momentum, and you're buried deep in your own territory. And if you look at what Mac did early in that drive, he went to Tongas. It was a near interception by Landman on the first play, but on the second play he goes slant to Bourne against Forbes for 9. Then on 3rd and 1 at the 11, he goes slant to Bourne, a really tight window, kind of a post to Bourne, really tight window throw, and 18-yard gain on 3rd and 1, keeps the drive alive. This is they're backed up on their own 11-yard line. Then Jones throws to Juice 4 yards on first down. Robinson runs for 2 on second down, on 2nd and 6. So it's basically 3rd and 4, 3rd and 4.5, 5 roughly. Jones goes to CMC and just throws a 16-yard laser, absolute laser. And the next play, they're at midfield. Then he goes he's trying to throw a pass on first down from midfield. The pass got tipped into the air by Quentin Lake. So it's 2nd and 10. Then he goes to Bourne. It was Bourne's 10th catch. So now they're in Rams territory, threw it away on first down, and there was the penalty on the 49ers for McKivitz was downfield. But this is a big drive. Then it's 1st and 15 from the 44. He goes to D-Rob, incomplete, a little too high. 2nd and 15. He goes to Tongas for 5. That led to a 3rd and 10. His pass was almost intercepted by Josiah Stewart. But, he moved the ball from his own 2-yard line and set up Eddie Pinheiro for the 59-yarder to give the Niners the lead with 2 minutes and a little bit less than 3 minutes left, 2:52 on the clock. Niners were up 23-20. That was a hell of a drive, man. That's a hell of a drive. Most of it passing, and he's going to Tongas. He's going the backup tight end. He's going to Bourne, who was signed in, a couple weeks ago. Threw a pass to Juice, one to CMC, another to Bourne. It's like he's going to guys, D-Rob, Tongas. He moved the ball down the field. And, yeah, it was a 59-yarder. It was a beautiful kick by Eddie. Could have been good from 65. But what a drive right there from Mac Jones. That was an amazing drive to give the 49ers the lead on the road. And this is after the momentum was halted. And the Niners were struggling. They'd gone 3 and out in the previous drive. So it's like Mac Jones really played well. Really played well. Fantastic performance by Jones. Let's hear one more from Jones.
This report that Brock could be out a few more games. Do you feel like the starting job, you're the starter now, and that's just the way you have to view it?
I think, they brought me here to play as a backup, and that's my job. And Brock's the starter of this team, and right now he's dealing with something. And for him to go out there last week and play when you know he probably wasn't at full health, like he cares about this team. So I'm just trying to get some wins for him so it helps us down the line. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Like, I've been in his position, I've been a starter, and you want your backup to go in there and win, because at the end of the season, that could be the hit or miss between a playoff or not. So
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer right there. I mean, I say beautiful, and people might say, "Oh, that's over dramatic," but you know what? There's all kinds of things that you could say there, and everybody's listening. And it's a major, major thing. What are you going to say? And I think he said it, he covered his bases there. He's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can do." And he's not apologizing for winning or playing well, but he's also acknowledging, hey, Brock Purdy's a starter here, and I've been the starter in places like that. And as a starter, you want the backup to come in and win. And that's what all I'm trying to do. And, he's just keeping it real simple, keep the main thing, and just focus on stuff that matters and try to sidestep those landmines. And that right there is a media landmine, because what if you come out and you're like, yeah, I am the guy. And then all of a sudden it rubs guys wrong. Or what if you say, I'm not really the guy, and people don't think you're very confident? I mean, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. So I thought he handled that very, very maturely. We should tell you, 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. The link is in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. So thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube,